Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Have a great show that's coming up for you guys today. I'm going to be joined by author Tina Siemens. We'll be discussing her book, Seminole. You guys can see it there. In fact, there is Tina. Going to go ahead and bring her in. We're going to chat about her 1 year anniversary. What it's been like for her to share her family story with all of you, but also some of the themes that you all can expect from the book as well. Now, the other great thing about Tina's book, hey, Tina, you're sideways. I need you to turn your... There you go. There you go. We're also going to discuss a very special offer that Tina has going on all this month for you guys to get an autographed copy of her book and how to stay connected with her. Tina, it is great to see you again.
Great seeing you, and thank you for having me on here.
Oh, glad to do it, as always, as always. So, Tina, of course, we're going to be talking about Seminole, the 1 year anniversary. First of all, how does that feel to have had your book available for the world to be able to read?
It's been great. I mean, if we would have chosen a year other than 2020, might have the title. Some people never give up, right? So
right.
The online sales have been wonderful. So I can't believe it's a year has passed since the launch date. Last September 13th was my launch date.
Wow, amazing. So, of course, as I mentioned, we're going to be letting our audience know, Tina, how they can get an autographed copy of the paperback edition of the book and, of course, be able to share it. So I want to go over some of the themes here, Tina, because I think it is appropriate, right? And I think, we're going to get into 2020 and how we all are kind of adjusting. But what made you say that I wanted to share my family story? What is it that made you say this was something you thought other people could benefit from?
Well, it started out as just wanting to have an account for my children and my future generations, but it evolved so much more because there's so many aspects of this story, our immigration journey from many years. And I just thought this can inspire others as well as just my family. So it kind of evolved as I was starting the writing process.
Yeah. You mentioned, of course, the subtitle, Some People Never Give Up. We see that with your family. Do you think that's where you've gotten some of your own tenacity from, being able to see what others in your family have been able to overcome?
Absolutely. Just learning from seeing what they went through, living through. Myself as a young child, I was 8 when we immigrated from Old Mexico to West Texas. And so just having had the opportunity to go through some of these hardships and then to think that I could learn something and pass those lessons on to others. It's been a great journey. Not always easy, but a great journey.
Right. And I think that's it. And I think that's an interesting correlation, Tina, to where we are now in 2020, right? Because, I think even though there are challenges that people are faced with, very real challenges, I think one thing that your family story shows, and then if we're really honest, all of us have some examples of, of courage, of endurance that we can look forward to. Does that kind of help you through the difficulties you face today, knowing what your family has been able to do and what you've been able to do before now?
It helps me draw almost on a daily basis. I'll draw strength from what my family went through and knowing that they persevered. Sometimes it was a difficult thing to overcome, but just having that information, how they dealt with it, draws strength for me on a daily basis.
Yeah. So for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. Tina Siemens is our guest. She's the author of the book Seminole that's celebrating its 1 year anniversary this month. We're talking to Tina not only about the sharing of her family story, but also her story and what we can learn from it. As I mentioned, Tina's book is on sale through her website this month. You guys can get an autographed copy. We're going to remind you of that a little bit later. So, Tina, writing the book has to be a personal thing, but I want to talk to you about the response from other people, because even before today, you and I had a chat last week, and you were sharing with me, even in talking to other people, what has that experience been like for you to hear how they found a connection with your story?
So one person came to me not long ago and said that just hearing the history of our own town here, they had learned things that they never knew about our own surrounding area. And so that's always encouraging, but much more if I hear that I finished the book and I was encouraged to go on my journey and just make the best of every situation. So those testimonies are just valuable to hear from other people.
Yeah. We can't have a conversation like this, Tina, without talking about an overarching theme in the book and also in your life, and that's faith. We see it displayed in your relatives. You know, I know in having conversations with you, your faith has definitely helped you. What has that been like for you to realize that even in the challenges, knowing you're not going through what you're dealing with alone?
Well, just this morning, my devotions was out of Romans chapter 8. If God is for us, who can be against us? And
Yeah.
so faith has carried me through many, many times. And I'm on a personal journey right now of learning this separation. A good friend of mine sent me a little video clip, and it would just hit home, because so often we mix our own faith with what feels good to us, or
Yeah.
what doesn't feel good. So knowing
Right.
the true meaning of faith is the substance of things not seen. And so that
Right.
to me is an ongoing journey, but it's a wonderful thing to get bits of truths, and they really stick, like the
Right.
of learning separation. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. You know, I want you to talk to us, Tina, about the cover. You and I have had conversations about this, but tell our viewers about the cover and the significance of it.
So Seminole, the word Seminole is derived from this Indian word Cimarrons, and so that means set apart. The Black Seminoles, also known as the Buffalo Soldiers, they were hired by the 10th Cavalry. So the 10th Cavalry hat is an honor for the 10th Cavalry hiring the Buffalo Soldiers from the state of Florida that came to the West Texas area and discovered some water wells here. And then the Indian hat is, of course, for the Indian headdress for the natives that were in our area. And then the Mennonite, traditionally Mennonite men's and women's hat, worn by children as well, is for the Mennonite culture. And then the fedora is for all the legal help that we got from our local mayor all the way to the President of the United States. Our congressman played a huge role in getting the bill passed in the House and the Congress to allow us to become U.S. citizens.
Yeah. You know, when we hear words like immigrant or immigration or citizens, unfortunately, as you know, Tina, there's been so much division that has been taking place. You know, in looking at your own story, what do you want our viewers to know about the importance of, you know, we all have heard it. I know I see it. We're all in this together. How important has that been for you to be able to not only to share, but to live?
Well, I think it is so important that the world wants to be in America. And it was truly a long time vision for my parents to bring us here. And when that came to be in existence, that was such a dream come true. But to do it legally and to get the help that we got is not a daily occurrence. But my daughter-in-law just last month became a U.S. citizen, and that kind of, for my personal family, completed the circle of immigration.
Oh, wow.
She went to Dallas during the COVID, and we were told nobody would be able to go in. And there was like 22 different countries present, 50 some people that got their citizenship. And it just means so much to be able to have that. It's a piece of paper, but it's much more than that. It's a lifestyle for us. It was for me learning a new language, learning a life and here in America. And it has brought so many challenges, but also so many opportunities that we were able to learn from. And that is what shaped us, the opportunity that we got to by coming here.
Right, right. So let's talk about history for a moment. History, geology comes up in your book, Seminole, Tina. Um, do you feel like because of your family, you've always been fascinated by history? Is that something that has always been something you've been drawn to?
I love history. In school, social studies was my favorite subject. And so history, I always knew there was a fascinating story about the Mennonite migration, but what
Hmm.
people don't know is they hear the word Mennonite and they think, oh, it's a culture, it's an ethnic group. But it's not, it's a faith group. So it all started in the 1500s during the Reformation years when a guy named Menno Simon, he was a Catholic priest, and he became a leader of a small group, and that small group became known as Mennonites, derived from his first name, Menno Simons. So that always fascinated me, and I've traveled to Poland, to present-day Ukraine, and Canada, and of course Mexico, where the migrations happened over the years. And it's interesting how so many cultural things were passed on to each generation. So I'm thankful for that. But history in itself, if we don't glean from the mistakes or from the positives, then we are bound to make the same mistakes over
Yeah.
again. So I think history in that part to me is very important because we can learn so much from history. It's not always positive, but we can learn uh, from the negative as well.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? Everything is a lesson in itself. And I think we can choose to even something that is looked at as a negative
Right.
or a dark spot. We can be able to get something positive out of it. I also like the fact that you mentioned that about not repeating the past, especially when it comes to, the negativity that's out there. I think, do you hope our audience here, Tina, realizes their part in it, that they are now a part of history, that their actions today will be shaping the history of tomorrow?
Absolutely. And what is happening around our country and globally is so much division. And if we would just stop for 2 minutes and concentrate on the similarities that we have, and
Yeah.
we could glean so much from each other, and that would help us to not overlook the negativity, but learn from that and improve upon that.
Yeah. I have to talk to you about social media, Tina, because we all are using it more these days. But I want to say for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents Tina Siemens. You see her down there. She's the author of the book Seminole. She's celebrating her 1 year anniversary of the book. Right now, she's running a special with the paperback edition. You guys can get an autographed copy of the paperback edition for only 20 bucks, including shipping. Tina's going to be sharing you at the end of the segment how you guys can be able to take advantage of that. So social media is the way you and I actually connected through Facebook. Initially, Tina, we've been able to kind of follow each other all over the place since then. Since then. But how has that helped you in spreading the word about your book and the work that you're doing?
Well, it's wonderful in a sense that I can be in my own home. I don't have to
Yeah.
travel. So that's the best part of it. And it also just allows me to, I mean, the boundaries are endless. There's no, this can be reached globally. And that's the beauty.
Right.
If I'm in person, I can just be in one spot. I love doing smaller groups, uh,
Hmm.
smaller women's groups, Lions clubs, book clubs, and things like that. It's wonderful, but this allows us the platform to go globally, and that's the beauty
Right.
of online media.
So true. And I see some of our viewers joining us from all over the country and appreciate you guys being with us. And then, of course, we'll be sharing this with our other online platforms as well. So you and I talked before this segment, Tina, about some of the things that you look forward to doing. I know we all are kind of adjusting to what have been the changes in the world in 2020 because of the pandemic that all of us have been affected by. But as you just said, you enjoy being able to be out there, to be able to talk to groups, and particularly at book clubs. I know one of the things you and I are going to be working on are doing some virtual events with book clubs, so I'm looking forward to that. What are some of the other things as an author? What are you looking forward to when it comes to spreading the word about the book?
Well, I love Facebook is a wonderful platform, but I do local garden clubs. Where garden, we have a local market, garden market that happens once a month. And so I do every opportunity that we can safely do in this pandemic time. But then one-on-one, I'll have calls coming in from Canada. In fact, I've had a whole new group of family members that I never knew existed that have been able to reach out to me because they have written stories from my ancestors that stayed in Canada while my ancestors moved to Old Mexico in 1922.
Oh, wow.
They
Wow.
now finding this story, and they are finding missing parts from my end of the story, and I'm finding missing parts from their end. So it's been just a wonderful platform to reach people that I would have never been able to had I not written this book.
Yeah. I want to share a comment from Loving Debs. And Deb, glad you could join us. She says, I love finding the positive and the negative. I'm Spanish Irish on my dad's side and French German on my mom's side. And Deb does a really good job of spreading that honesty and positivity on her own page. So Deb, appreciate that. You know, I think that's the thing, Tina, and I think it's because of my upbringing. I was raised to focus on the positive. I was not one of these people who were raised to dwell on what I did not have and where I was not. I was always told to appreciate what you do have and what you can do. Is that also something that you've learned from your family?
Absolutely. When my dad came to do an initial visit to Seminole before he brought us as family, he brought us a rightly pack of gum, the 17-stick gum. That's the most gum I had ever had as a child. So it's finding the positivity in the small things. And it can be an encouraging word from somebody, but we don't look for the positive. It's so easily lost in the negativity. So finding nuggets and holding on to them. My father-in-law would always say, if we just have everything right in front center of our brain, then it becomes lost in that pile. And so we have to file things in our brain to where we can have access to it very easily, but don't stumble up on that. And so I think appreciating the small things, like a flower or just a text message from somebody I think we all know somebody in the care centers now, and there's such loneliness happening all around us. Just a reach out to encourage somebody by a word is a golden nugget.
So true. And it's something that all of us can be able to do. Again, everyone, Tina Siemens has been our guest. Seminole is the title of her book. As I mentioned, she's celebrating her 1-year anniversary. And because of that, she's offering you guys an opportunity to get an autographed copy of the paperback edition of her book for only $20. So, Tina, let them know where they can find you online and how they can take advantage of this special offer.
Well, my website is SeminoleTheBook.com. And also they can email me at SeminoleTheBook@gmail.com. On Twitter, Seminole the Book, as well as Facebook page. And it's all Seminole. It's spelled SEMINOLE, the book. So anyway, and I would love to hear back from you.
All right, so make sure you guys take advantage of that. Again, at SeminoleTheBook.com is that site. For those who are joining us on YouTube and other platforms, we'll make sure that we put the link with this video. Again, only through her website can you guys take advantage of the special offer, so you definitely want to make sure you guys do that. Again, SeminoleTheBook.com, and also SeminoleTheBook@gmail.com is where you guys can stay connected with Tina. Tina, it is always a pleasure. Mary Ellen says, excellent talk. We appreciate that, Mary Ellen. It's always great catching up with Tina. And Tina, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, glad to do it. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. Take care.